This is Mason.
Jameson got it on the game!
He scores! Woo!
Here in the 315, we love Lex.
The Memorial Day have done it again.
It's time for the Syracuse Lacrosse post-game show. Here's Brian.
Oh, man, how we doing after that one? Everyone okay? What's our... Sorry, I like how the ticker's working. Man, oh, man, oh, man. This Syracuse team is... They're an excitingly infuriating watch, this Syracuse team. Oh, my goodness. Like, congrats to them. Back to the Final Four, consecutive seasons. It's fantastic. And now they got a chance to avenge four of their 5 losses. They just avenged 2 here on the way to the title. They'll get Notre Dame next week, and it's extremely possible that they will end up with Princeton in the title game if they can beat Notre Dame next week. And next week's going to be an extremely tough test out in Charlottesville. But man, oh man, this team is they're infuriatingly wild. Did Spalina F-bomb? I didn't quite hear everything he said. This team is something, man. They're infuriating the FCC. It's 13-11. They could have won that game probably by 6. You get a first half out of John Mullen like you got, and you're down at halftime. You go on a 6-goal run in the second half, and then it's tied all of a sudden. And then a 3-1 run at the end that's sparked by that Billy Dwan falling off the sideline play. It was just so very, 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 very cutesy of these guys. Just, man, watching Syracuse Lacrosse is not for the faint of heart. Is it? My goodness, they test every fiber of your being to handle hanging in with this one. It was one where you could just feel an incredibly stupid loss by turnovers and all that crap coming down the line, but they're able to force through. Joey Spalina, currently leading our Wildbirds Unlimited Big Air Player of the Game poll in the early going, comes up big late, and you're back to the Final Four. And the dream and the goals and the story and the whatever is coming up with this year's team, this build, this 5 or 6 year build, this 4-year career for all these guys. And many times it was the seniors that were infuriating. It was seniors. I think it was Dwan and Thompson that had those back-to-back penalties right before halftime. The turnovers, all that stuff. But then Spalina comes up with the goods down the stretch. He goes 6 points in a quarterfinal game after last year. What do you have, 9 points, whatever it was in the quarterfinal game last year. So once again on the big stage, he comes up big, and now you get the rematch next week with Notre Dame. And man, oh man, looking forward to it. Looking forward to it because, yeah, I get Syracuse. The final score says they got hammered in that game against Notre Dame a few weeks back. They were leading the game at halftime, and it was much like you worried this was about to be. They shot themselves in the foot. It's an eminently winnable game, but it's one where you're going to have to play really, really buttoned-up lacrosse when it comes a week from now. With that, let's welcome in everybody. What a win. What a win. Lax quarterfinal games are the quarterfinals is almost in many ways more, there you go, revenge tour. The quarterfinals in many ways, in Lax especially, is almost more nerve-wracking than the Final Four. The Final Four, you kind of let it out, you let it fly. The quarters, it's like, all right, can you get to the weekend? Can you get to the big stage? Can you get to the show? They're often very tense games. I'm shocked that didn't end up a 1-goal game, but Syracuse gets through with a 2-goal win. But man, oh man, this is one where you get through this one, and now you're going to go see the team. In many ways, Notre Dame's been the best team in the sport over the last 5 years. give or take. I'd say they've been the best team in the sport over the last 5 years. So you're going to have to get past that, and we'll see what happens tomorrow down in Delaware. The number 1 seed is Princeton, who you lost to earlier in the season. That could be standing in your way. 24 years since the last time Syracuse and Princeton met in the Final Four. That could be standing in your way from then. Which semifinal plays first next week? We don't know yet, PJ Day. We won't know that till the games are over tomorrow. My guess is the Orange and the Irish will be second on. Second semi has been decidedly a disadvantage in the title game over the last 10 to 15 years because it is so grueling and physical. But realistically, whatever you generally. It seems they generally put the quote-unquote bigger game on second. Syracuse Notre Dame is going to be a bigger game than whatever the combination that spits out the first game is going to be. So my guess is Syracuse will be the 2:30 game next week. I think that's still noon and 2:30. They keep changing the times on that. My guess is Syracuse will still be the second semifinal game next week, but we will not know that officially until after the games are played tomorrow. I can at least go check to make sure those are noon and 2:30 next week. There was a while they were pushing those games a little bit later on Saturday, and it was like just okay. It's getting a little late in the day for things like that because it was not last year, but the time Syracuse was in the Final Four prior in 2013 in where were we? Philly. Is that where we were? I think we were in Philly. The first semifinal game was a Cornell-Duke game. I think it ended up being the last game of Rob Pennell's career, and it took forever. Like, Syracuse was scheduled to go at 2:30. They didn't face off till like 3:30. Like, it takes forever. Like, you're in that second semifinal game. Like, today's game, 2:30. What'd they start? A little after 3. Like, you sit and you sit and you sit, and there's a lot of that. There's a lot of that sitting around waiting for the second semifinal game. Are they noon and 2:30 next week? Hang on. Yes, it's noon and 2:30. I'm going to guess Syracuse will be in the 2:30 game, but we do not know that. You don't have ESPN EU? Yes, T. Murphy. The semis are ESPN2. The title game is ESPN. So there we go. Semis, ESPN2, title game, ESPN. Yeah, Michael Leo had some questionable decisions today as well. I love me some Luke Roa. He was fantastic. All right, let's officially launch into the show. It's our Thompson Road Tavern. Opening menu was 2013, the Maltz rebound game. Oh, you better believe it was. Randy Horowitz, that great game against Denver, 8-7. Fantastic game. And then they were up 5-0 in the national title game before they didn't have the ball for like an hour and a half of real time. It caused some problems, and they got absolutely hammered at faceoffs. That was basically the game where the new style of faceoff basically ruined Syracuse for like a year and a half before they eventually figured out. But our Thompson Road Tavern opening menu, I'll tell you this, the Thompson Road Tavern, it's 5:36. You got plenty of time. They have this picture of this burger on their Facebook right now. It's called the Cowboy Burger. It's a half-pound situation. They've got some barbecue sauce. There's cheddar cheese, which is delightfully melted. It's bacon. It's not just bacon. It's a smoky bacon. It's not just an onion ring. It's a crispy onion ring. And it's not just a bun. It's a brioche bun. And it's not just a brioche bun. It's also been toasted. And it's not just all that. All of those things I just said, it's $10.95, and it photographs well. So get on out to the Thompson Road Tavern. Go get dinner. $10.95 for that thing. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. So go check that out. Where is it? It's on Thompson Road. Where's Thompson Road? 690 Thompson Road North. Go to that. Yaz in the chat. What's up, Yaz? So there we are. What are we going to do today? I don't believe we're going to have access to a post-game. Not only is Yaz in the chat, Yaz is called in. So we'll get to you in a second, Yaz. Hang on. I don't think we're going to get the post-game press conference today. Why would they make things like that easy? But if we see any of Gary or crew, we'll get that to you before too long. As mentioned before, link pinned in the chat if you'd like to join the show. And we'll chop it up. Yeah, there we are. But Pastor Tim just dropping a Kyle Federley woo in the $5 in the chat. If you'd like to make any donations, the $ sign is next to the chat box. Become a channel member, become a channel subscriber, do all of the things. All right. As mentioned, link pinned to the chat if you would like to join the show. We have a guest here. Hang on. We need to click the proper buttons to get our guests on the air. And with that, we're going to bring in our guy. We're going to bring in our guy Yaz here. I'd say your actual name, Chris, but I don't think I ever actually learned how to pronounce your last name. So we'll just go Yaz. What's up, buddy? Are you hearing me, Yaz? We're staring at you.
Trying to figure out.
There-
I don't think I can. I mean, Brian, I don't think I can hear you.
You
at
can't
all.
hear me? Hang on. Oh, that's my bad. That's my. Hang on. User error.
There we
Yes,
go.
that was me. That was me. User error.
There we
User
go.
error. All right. I didn't. There was a button unclicked. My bad. All right. What's up, man?
Buttons. What's up? What a.
Whew.
I thought for a second we were done after 6-2, but man, it's a sloppy game. But you know what? It's not. It's. I forget what the. I am so happy right now. We're back in this in championship weekend, and it's not a fluke after last year.
Right.
But I will say it was a sloppy game. It's not how you won it, or it's not how you. I don't know. I'm trying to think of some weird saying. It's like it's not how you won, it's how you did it, or something like that. But the opposite, but because it was sloppy, and that first quarter was bad. But man, Joey Spallina coming up clutch late, huge, needed that. McCool looked great. I'm a little nervous about Notre Dame. It just feels like I would say right now I put them at maybe a 5-goal favorite, 4.5 goal favorite.
I don't know if it's going to be quite that high. I don't know if it's going to be quite that high. They'll definitely be favored.
Yeah.
But I don't know, 2.5, 3, something like that. I think it's a very winnable game, right? Syracuse was up at halftime at their place less than a month ago.
Yeah.
But you can't beat, of all the teams walking planet Earth today, you cannot beat them by being sloppy. That's the one you can't be. You're sloppy against them for 5 minutes, the game's over, and we've seen that time and time again.
Yeah, but hey, we're back in it, and I'll be curious. Like, would you say right now, Brian, like, if we lose somehow on Saturday, would you consider it a success? Do they have to win the championship? Can they get to the national championship game and lose? Like,
that's a tough question, isn't it? Because having been around it, like if you make the Final Four, your season's a success. But
yes,
like
for a lot of programs,
yeah, it is. And obviously, Syracuse last year getting back, it had been, what was last year? Last year it had been 12 years. Like that was a big deal. And then obviously, you ran into Maryland last year. They were outgunned in that game, and it just wasn't a good matchup. This year, with the seniors, with Spallina, with everything, like you've been building to this moment for like 6 years, not even 4. Like since Joey committed when he was a junior, like there's been a circle on this year's championship since before these guys were even in school. So it's one where, can you reasonably be disappointed if you lose in the Final Four? No, but have we met a reasonable Syracuse Lacrosse fan or player ever? No. So, they're going to be disappointed if they lose. I think everyone's going to be disappointed if they lose, even if they lose in a perfectly reasonable way. It's just the way it is for this program because of the last 40 years. The last 40 years set you up that you are disappointed whenever you don't win the title.
It's such a different landscape this sport has right now, and I know we're not going to make Final Fours. Every senior class is going to do it, and look, we were both there in 2017 when it happened, and that was probably my lowest part of my time at Cuse. Just like seeing all those seniors that I was they were a year ahead of me.
Was that Sergio in that group? Yeah,
Sergio and Malloy, and we lost to Towson, and
yeah,
the view was scintillating, and God, I hate that shot from Joey Slider. But yeah, in Delaware. But that was, I think it's easy to regroup after a first round loss, but once you get to the quarterfinals, that is a tough hill to climb always, and trying to get back to quarterfinals is tough. Getting to championship weekend, as we have realized, is tougher. Like at this point, I would think it might be a success. Like I would say definitely a success if you get to the championship game. And I think you can because I don't think Notre Dame scares me.
They're not
Like
as good. This is not the
no,
team that won the title 2 years. That team is
nobody.
unbeatable.
I would say maybe Princeton could scare some people, but this feels like a wide open. This feels like a little bit more of a wide open field than has been in years past.
Mm-hmm.
Like I could see Cuse winning. I could see Notre Dame winning it all. I could see Princeton. I could see Penn State. I can't see Duke. Sorry, Duke. Georgetown, I can't either. So like 6 of the 8 teams, like or 1, 2, 3, yeah, four of the 6 teams.
But I mean, heck,
yeah.
like if Duffy, if in a different world, if Duffy had been healthy and Carolina got through today, they would have been in the mix of a team that could have won the title for sure. And you look at it, it's never been like this, Yaz. And I look at it. And go figure, it could be if it's Syracuse and Princeton. That how old school is that? But it's been 24 years since that happened, and it would be your revenge tour, right, of another team you've lost to. I look at the Syracuse team though, man. When they lose this year, they have not lost a single game this year where I look at it and be like, I don't think there is a circumstance under which they can beat that team.
Yeah,
and like in all when they lost to Maryland last year in the semis, it's like. You replay that game a million times. Maybe Syracuse wins a couple, but all right, like they're not winning that game. You look at some of those other losses. You mentioned 2017. I go back to the year before when they lost to Maryland in 2016. Like they weren't winning that game. They got obliterated. Had they run into, say, the Notre Dame team that won those back-to-back titles recently, they nor anybody else in the country was winning that game. Those teams were a step ahead. That team doesn't exist this year. Honestly, I think Syracuse's AA+ game is the best AA+ game in the country. Their problem is every 5 minutes they're like, well, let's try our C game out for a while and see what happens.
Yeah.
Let's just toss it out and see if we can survive it. And they have, but man, they keep it interesting. They keep it more interesting than necessary.
I mean, I've been around this team since I got there in 2014-15, and man, well, go back to 2017. How many of those games were 1-goal games? And they were just
what they play? It was like 10 straight at one point. It was nuts.
Yeah, I think I lost. I would say at least 4 years of my life off of that season.
It was a lot of fun.
What? We won those games.
Yeah,
that's most of the games, I should say. But I don't want to see those games. So at least this was a 2-goal win. Great. So a little bit less pressure. But I will say kudos to the defense and kudos to Johnny Mullen. I think I voted Spallina my player of the game, but I think overall, Mullen played a hell of a game, especially against Brady Wambach.
Yeah.
And I think the defensive adjustment made in that second half just was pivotal. And I know Duffy being hurt played a role. I mean, excuses are excuses, and I get it, but you beat UNC. Doesn't no one's gonna remember a quarterfinal loser. No one's gonna remember this is the game that Owen Duffy was injured. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Carolina fans will be complaining about that for years. Syracuse goes wins the title. They're not tossing an asterisk on that anytime soon. What do you think about Spallina here? I mean, obviously he was great, 3-3. His last 2 quarterfinal games have been unparalleled. He was unbelievable. I mean, I still think his best career game was the Princeton one last year.
Yeah.
But I mean, here's a guy is he the Powells or the Gates? No, but and Joey knows this. He knows this and he embraces it. If they win the title, the legacy that he and the other seniors, but it's him. It's them with him. That's just the way it is. And they all know it. The legacy he would leave is amazing. It wouldn't be now I'm the second best player of all time, but to take a program that had fallen off and fix it. What a legacy that would be for the guy if they win.
Yes. I'll go back to this whole discourse, and I was texting Clark about it back in January, that if Spallina won a national championship, I think I saw he would be a top 5 player in program history. I'm
no.
Hold the brakes. No. I mean, there's 2 Gates and 3 Powells.
Yeah, I'm to 5 real fast. I'm to 5 with 2 last names. Let's slow down.
Yeah.
He's not even, and this is, and I say this, he's the all-time leading scorer. This is nothing against Joey. This is a compliment to the history of Syracuse lacrosse. He may now have gotten into the top 20. And
Yeah.
And like that's not an insult. That's
No.
that's high praise. Like when you start going down the list, it's all Hall of Famers. Like
Yeah.
it's just
Jim
it's
Brown.
yeah.
And like all these guys, like Tom Marechek and
Yeah.
Timmy Nelson and all like Brian McGill and Galloway and
Yeah, when you look
all
at
these
Galloway,
guys.
Joel White, Pat McCabe,
Yeah.
Glatzel, when you go back like to the Brad Kotzes and Tim Nelson,
Yeah.
there's so many guys. It's not an insult.
Oh.
Like if you're the 18th best player in the history of Syracuse lacrosse, that means you're one of the best players of all time.
Yes.
But honestly, Joey's legacy, if they win this title after not having won one in 17 years, his legacy is going to pass a lot of those guys.
Yes.
Like,
Oh yeah.
if he does that, he might have a top 5 legacy. Top 10. I mean, his legacy would be unbelievable because that's.
He will play. Yeah, he'll play an important role, and maybe like for those that enjoy hockey, and I feel like the audience, it's upstate New York, so they gotta like hockey. Think of it as like Sidney Crosby with the Penguins. Like he might, well, differently a little bit because he's probably like the second best Penguin of all time to Mario Lemieux. But
Yeah.
in terms of his legacy, it's like without him, he kind of rejuvenated that franchise, helped them win 3 Stanley Cups. I kind of see it like that with Spallina in a way that maybe in terms of like second best player in Q's, not really, but he's top 20 as you said.
Yeah.
But like just keeping like being an important part of that renaissance for the program.
It's
is huge.
it's bigger than the other
Very
accomplishments.
huge.
Like
Yes.
like if they take it all the way and win the title, to Joey's legacy, that is miles more important than the fact that he's the all-time scoring leader.
Yeah.
Which in other programs would not be the case. But
Yes.
in this situation, I think it's, and I think, I don't even think you'd have to truth serum Joe. I think you'd probably just have to ask him, and he'd probably agree on that. He gets it. He knows the history.
Yeah.
He understands. And that's what I like about him of late. Like, he has embraced it wholeheartedly. Like, he's not running away from it. He does literally every post-game press conference. He goes to all of them. He jumps in. He answers every question. He knows the deal.
He's raised well by his dad and his brothers.
Yeah,
and his mom.
He knows the deal. So,
Yeah.
I mean, for his sake, I hope he gets it. I also hope that, all right, let's say they don't. Losing to Notre Dame, like they're not going to be favored in the game, right? You lose the game. He's still done yeoman's work here the last 4 years to, like, attempting the task at all.
He got Q's back in championship weekend.
Twice.
Like, that's big. I
Yeah.
mean, at least coming from someone that was part of that team, or part of the program for 4 years, and right at the beginning where 2017 was the first senior class that didn't reach championship weekend since the early 80s.
Yeah.
And just that long drought, and then you get out in the first round in 18 and 19, COVID, whatever, and all the other stuff, and then you don't make tournaments, and then a change, and then you get to that bottom, and then here comes Spallina, and then here comes Gate, and hopefully that upward climb continues. And look, like that could be like if Cuse wins a championship in another year or two without him.
I
if they don't win
still
it
put
this
that
year,
as part of his
that's still
legacy.
big.
Yeah, because
that's still part of his legacy.
yeah, because he helped raise it back up, and I think that's just it's beyond massive. Good to have a
I
guy
will
Chris
say-
Yastrzemski call in.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I will say this: like we were talking Spallina, I was texting my buddy, also a Cuse guy, a year younger than me, and I'm like, 22's got to step. This is the fourth quarter. 22's got to step up here in some way.
And he did.
And then guess what happened? He scored a goal, and then I said it again, and then he scored another goal. And like that's what you needed. Billy Dwan, unreal save.
That play was
I will-
stupid. Just ridiculous.
I will argue, and this might be a new bit on Twitter that it was the no call that the refs owed us after that weird shot clock reset in the first quarter.
Yeah, that was bizarre.
Yeah,
I don't.
I also don't know like if Bresci challenged it, and I feel like maybe he should have because why not? I don't think he would have gotten it because the camera angles were a little weird.
Yeah, it was hard to tell
there.
if he,
It's like,
you
you
know,
can't really tell.
Is he in? Is he out? What's going on there?
But hell of a save by Dwan, hell of a goal, hell of a step up by Spallina in the fourth quarter. Like that's perfect. That was what you needed from 22. And McCool steps up again, and I think he's like in the fourth quarter. If I feel like at most
a
of the
rock
time,
in
he's
the
like
fourth.
prime Henrik Lundqvist in the playoffs.
What did Jimmy end up with today? Jimmy ends up with 12 saves, but You know how it is when you know you can trust your goalie late. It is such a comforting feeling for the guys in front of him. Carolina had the opposite feeling today. Like for whatever reason, I don't know why they switched goalies last week. I know their freshmen have been struggling a little. Maybe I'm just off. I think he played his 2 best games of the season against Syracuse, so I don't know why they didn't start him today. So they start this other dude, and he clearly was wobbly.
Yeah.
And like that wears on you. Syracuse has had years where the goalie's not been great, and the defense's collapse. You can tell Syracuse's defense fourth quarter gets stronger because of that. And with Figueres and Dwan, you got 2 really, really good guys, which helps.
Yeah.
But
I'm still a
I
little nervous about the D middies going forward.
Right.
I think that's been our weakness all year.
McCarthy had a great game today, but he played.
McCarthy did have a great game.
Like he and Bowen are playing a lot of minutes. A lot
Yes.
of minutes. That's hard. That's really hard in the quick turnaround if you get to the title game when you're doing that. That's really hard then. But hey, at least we're still talking about the possibility of that. At least we're still
That's
talking
right. That's right.
All right, yes. Thanks so much for calling in. Do appreciate it.
That's it, Brian.
All right.
Yeah.
Give a ring next week. Hopefully we'll have some more positive things to talk about.
I might be on the road.
You might be at the
Eastern Conference Final.
Oh, okay. Yes is a hockey guy now. You're
yeah.
working. Are you
at
with
TNT? We'll be
you're with
either
TNT,
in Raleigh or Montreal, depending on what happens tonight in this Game 6.
Okay. Well, everyone, most of my viewers here are then rooting for you to be in Raleigh.
I'm personally hoping for Buffalo to win because I want the series to start Thursday, so I have a couple more days here.
Yeah, I have a lot of there's a lot of crossover in the viewers of this show and Sabres fans. So we'll be rooting for the Sabres tonight to pull
Sabres
that
in 7.
All right, there we go. All right, guys, good to see you, man.
All right, see you, Brian.
There he is, our guy Chris Yastrzemski. Chris, for those who don't know, he's covered lacrosse. He works in hockey, does a lot of stuff for TNT. Right now, he was a team manager, video guy, a bunch of stuff for the Lax team in the mid tens. I don't even know. So great to have you guys call in. If you'd like to call in, the link is pinned to the chat. So do that. The Syracuse players dropping F-bombs. Hopefully they F-bomb their way to the title, and then we can all buy F-bomb T-shirts. There we go. F-bomb our way to the title. We can make T-shirts here. If Syracuse wins the championship, we may have to produce some rogue. And they continue to F-bomb their way through post-game interviews. We may have to produce some rogue F-bomb championship T-shirts. We got time. We got time to come up with something good. Maybe just like F it SU1. I don't know. There's 2 more games between now and then, and realistically, like today was hard, but to the other point, Carolina's best player is Owen Duffy. Their Tewaaraton finalist was Owen Duffy. He is injured. He played a little bit. He gave it a go. His hamstring is clearly a mess. Like that wrap was like craziness. His hamstring is clearly just slaughtered. But you won. Now you've got 2 F-bombs in the final, 4-3 for the effing title. Now you got Notre Dame. All right, what did we see last week against Yale? Mostly buttoned up, end to get sloppy, you open the door, pandemonium, McCool saves the day at the end. Today, it felt like you should have been up 5. You had that first half by Mullen. Like that first half by Mullen was a thing of beauty. You're going against the best face-off guy in the country, and he's the best face-off guy in the country in 4 consecutive years. That really doesn't happen very often because those guys get the ever-living snot beat out of him. It is really, really hard to do to be the best face-off guy in the country for multiple years. And he had won 9 out of 11 at halftime and had 2 goals. Somehow Syracuse was losing. Now you're Notre Dame. Syracuse, what was the halftime score? Was it 9-8? Whatever the halftime score was a few weeks ago. Syracuse had a 1-goal lead in South Bend. And then the third quarter, it was like they forgot the game was occurring. Like, it's like they totally forgot the game was happening. And then all of a sudden they were down by 1 million and the game's over. Quite a leaderboard at the PGA. Rahm and Ludwig Olberg toward the top. And then some guys I don't know. Half an eye on that. But against Notre Dame, you can't have a quarter that goes awry. You can't have, like in the semis, you can't have a 5-minute walkabout. You can't go out to lunch during the national semifinal game. And of all of the teams in the country, especially in the last 5 years, the one team that you absolutely cannot do that against is Notre Dame, because that is the team that is going to use that 5 minutes to end the game, to absolutely end the game on you, because they will get the lead and then they will sit on you, and then you'll look up and you'll be like, how are there only 3 minutes left? There were just 28 minutes left. What just happened? It's happened time and time again. Syracuse has also gotten absolutely obliterated time and time again. The Kavanaughs, though, people, for those of you that are not into lacrosse, but you arrive here at this time of year, and you're like, did Notre Dame have a bunch of guys with the same last name? They did. Every Kavanaugh has now graduated. They're gone. They're out of brothers. They're done with it. Notre Dame's offense this year is not what it was when they won those 2 titles. Their defense is still great. Their goaltending is still great. Their ability to control the pace and time of the game is still great. But they're not going to put up, in theory, 8 million goals on you. Except when Syracuse played them and they gave up 16 or whatever it was. Syracuse on Saturday is going to be the more talented team on the field. Joey Spallina on Saturday is going to be the best player on the field. If Syracuse can play with its head screwed on straight Saturday, they will win the game. But every freaking game this year, Syracuse has these periods that just go bizarre. And, like, I know Syracuse won the game by 2. Did it feel like it? My goodness, that was angsty. Like, it just felt like every time they were getting ready to do something, they do something just monumentally, like, perplexing and fall apart a little bit. It was bizarre. Well, I'd say it was bizarre, except they've been doing it all year. And so I can't really say it was bizarre when you've been doing it all year. I don't know. But Syracuse won the game. Syracuse won the game, and honestly, what is it? They don't ask you how, they ask you how many. All that matters at this time of the year, survive in advance, one of those things, whatever. The turnovers and the penalties, Scotty. The turnovers and the penalties. Final numbers today. Syracuse won the game today with 19 turnovers and 5 penalties. Now, Carolina also had 15 and 6 penalties. Syracuse won a quarterfinal game failing at 6 clears. Wheeze, it's touchdown Jesus, not extra man Jesus. Syracuse won a quarterfinal game failing on 6 clears. I go back to, unfortunately, it's 17 years ago, but those last 2 teams that won the title, not might, Randy. That was the play of the game, 8,000,000%. It was unbelievable. Unbelievable. That was the final momentum turn for real. But when Syracuse won those titles in 08 and 09, their clearing percentage was in the low 90% all season long. You had Matt Abbott, one-man clear. You had Joel White. You had John Galloway. You had you had Joe Von Miller. You had zero problem clearing the ball then. That team was buttoned up. Obviously, they had high power. They had a lot of, those teams were really, really good, but they didn't kill themselves. This year's team has killed themselves 38 million times, and yet they are still alive into the Final Four. It's stunning. It's stunning. If they win the title, if they somehow do this 2 more games and win them both, it'll be baffling. Like, if they play like this against Notre Dame next week and win, for one, Kevin Corrigan's head might explode, which, all right. And for 2, it would just be, it just wouldn't make sense. To what Yaz was saying, I don't know what the line's going to be. Syracuse will probably be a 2.5, 3.5 goal dog in that game, realistically. Mike Powell, best riding attackman I've ever seen. Yeah. Seconded, Jeff. Joey gives a dispirited effort on the right. Joey's the most, Joey's the guy that should probably be called for way more slashes on the ride than I've ever seen attackman. He's just out there beating the crap out of people. Just absolutely beating the crap out of people. Mike Powell was a legitimately great riding attackman. He was also just a ridiculous athlete, which helped on that. But this is what you need here going forward. John Mullen here the last 2 games. What do you need to win a title, right? We've talked about this now all season and especially the last couple weeks. You need the ball. John Mullen the last 2 weeks has given you the ball. John Mullen the last 2 weeks is looking like the guy we saw last year, right? He took the best face-off guy in the country and took his lunch money in the first half today. All right, Wambach got him back a bit in the second half. That's to be expected. Mullen was fantastic today. You have a goalie that is comfortable in big moments. Jimmy McCool is unbothered by big moments. He is his last name in big moments. You feel good about that. You have, a lot of times, the best player on the field in Spallina. You feel good about that. You have a great one-on-one cover guy in Riley Figueres. You feel good about that. You have a really good second banana on close defense in Billy Dwan that also does a lot of other things. You feel really good about that. Your short stick D minis, you feel, what's the word, less bad about it this year than you have in other years recently. You don't feel great about it, but today the combination of McCarthy and Bowen did a solid job. Both made really important plays throughout the course of the game. What you don't feel good about is the mental walkabouts this team has. That's what you don't feel good about. And realistically, nothing's going to happen. Line right now is Notre Dame minus 2.5. Oh, I could feel it. Yeah, that feels about right. That feels about right. Like, Notre Dame's clearly the favorite. Notre Dame should be the favorite. They're the 2 seed. They beat Syracuse. What was the final in the first meeting? It was not close. 16 to something? Let's talk football fumble rules, KC fan. KC fan, we are 12 days out from the 100-day Fran Brown countdown, so we'll be talking football fumble rules before you know it. Today we talk about the rules of backups and shot clock resets, which seem to elude the referees today. It was a 16-11 final at Arlada. That was that the last game in April, first game in May, last game in April? Syracuse was up 8-7 at the half. It was a great back-and-forth game. Then the third quarter happened. The Orange gave up the first 5 goals of the third quarter, and the game was as good as over. What was surprising, and I do give Syracuse credit for this, is that the Orange did go on a 3-goal run, late third, early fourth, to get back within 1, but then it just falls apart again. You cannot have it was about a 10-minute period of that game at the beginning of the third quarter in South Bend where Syracuse just vanished from the field of play. There were, there was penalties, there was turnovers, they were not winning faceoffs. It was all of the things, and it all went wrong all at once. You cannot have that and beat Notre Dame. You can't. You can't. What were the faceoffs in that game? The faceoffs in that game were Notre Dame 18 and Syracuse 13. John Mullen, at his best, is a better faceoff guy than anybody that Notre Dame has. John Mullen, for the first time this year, the last 2 weeks, has been playing at something resembling what he did last year. Mullen went 13 of 28 in the first Notre Dame game. If Mullen can go 16 or 17 of 28 next week, that's a total game changer. That's a total game changer. The thing about Notre Dame, though, and Notre Dame has always done this and always been pretty good at it. Notre Dame's never had the best, like Wambach or Mullen, the best individual faceoff guy. They are committed to the idea of the faceoff unit. They get their wings involved and they beat the ever-living crap out of your faceoff guy. If you win the faceoff, it's not over until you have escaped. Notre Dame's sending 2 guys to beat the piss out of you. And that's going to be one of the big keys because they get right into it, and we've seen Syracuse's turnover problems, and that's a significant issue. If the Orange can clear that up next week, I think they have more than a fair chance to win it. Why did North Carolina change goalies for the playoffs? It's a great question, Tim. They've been starting a freshman all year, Josh Marcus, who admittedly had been struggling down the stretch. He got absolutely lit up by Duke in the regular season finale. Then he got lit up by Notre Dame, lit up by Virginia in the ACC tournament finals. The thing is, you started this guy last week. You beat Albany 24-6, but goal play didn't matter at all in that game. Marcus's best game of his season was the regular season game against Syracuse, and he was also he was more than solid in the ACC semifinal. So that's what I find weird is like this guy's played really well against Syracuse. I'm surprised. What surprises me is, all right, so good, got it going early. He made 3 first-quarter saves early, but then he did nothing the rest of the game. I'm surprised that I'm at least somewhat surprised that Bresci didn't make the goalie move maybe in the third quarter when it was clear the guy he had in had nothing. Like, it was clear the guy they had in had nothing. I believe McCool has another year of eligibility as a redshirt, Randy, if he wants it. So, potentially Jimmy McCool. He could be listening to some more Jim Croce in the basement. He may be confused when the rest of his roommates all moved out. But it could be McCool. I don't know if he said one way or another if he's coming back for a 5th year. But he has a redshirt year in his bag if he'd like it. So, I mean, I'd take Jimmy McCool back in a heartbeat right now. He's fantastic. He's fantastic. Yeah, they got Ippoliti, who's like jitterbuggy excitable. I'm not up on their recruiting for next year enough to know if they got a guy coming in that would be ready to go right from the jump. But, like, if you're Syracuse, you have the pieces to win this thing. But you're going to have to go and overturn potentially your 2 worst losses of the year. You may have to overturn 2 of your worst losses to the year. The link to call, Dom, is pinned to the chat. At least it should be pinned to the chat. It's pinned to the top or the bottom of the chat. It's pinned to some part of the chat if you'd like to. Call it. The Notre Dame goalie, Richie Urdelli. Yeah, I mean, like, of all the matchups left, I realize Syracuse got cooked by Princeton, but like, I look back at that game, Syracuse just played trash in the Princeton game from start to finish. Nothing against Princeton. Princeton's really good. They're the 1 seed. They're really, really good. But Syracuse, like, that game was decided because Syracuse was terrible that day. The Notre Dame game was decided because Syracuse was terrible in the third quarter. All right. Q says the number 1 goalie recruit in 2027. Well, that's good to know, Matt. Anyway. That's a good goalie recruit to have. I would like to have that kid from on Carolina, that freshman they got that has the most goals in the history of Long Island. Hot damn, he was good. But Syracuse has the pieces. Like, close and late, I trust Jimmy McCool. And I trust Joey Spallina close and late. They have a lot of guys I trust close and late. The problem is they have these walkabouts during the game where they have 5-minute spells where I trust nobody all at once. Their only top 10 recruit is the top-rated goalie. All right, there we go. So good to have the top-rated goalie. Would prefer also to have other top recruits because they're losing a lot. Do it, Weeze. Take the caution, toss it into the wind, and go find yourself a WEC. You may not find it at the Thompson Road Tavern, though. I think they only WEC on Wednesdays. I think you're SOL if you're trying to get it at the tavern, but you can Reuben. There's a beef and cheddar melt, like it's on a grill. It's not on a WEC. Like they've got you're tap dancing around it a little bit, but you can get pretty near it. You're gonna have to go elsewhere if you want to WEC on a Saturday because it doesn't alliterate. So we don't do that. We may have I don't think you were here when I said this the other day. We may have, when we're live in the 315 this upcoming Wednesday. Remember, the program switched. We've moved live in the 315 from Thursday to Wednesday. We've moved TPS report from Wednesday to Thursday. But it's very possible when we're live in the 315 next Wednesday, we might have some live WEC on hand, which could that's going to be a ratings winner, of which I'm certain. Yeah, I'm a little Jeff. That does worry me. That especially next year, considering the volume and talent they're losing from this year, this upcoming year would have been a good year to have a big recruiting class. That said, we've seen Gary be very successful in the portal before, if need be, so it's possibly just goes out and replenishes in the portal this year. Yeah, the Long Island Railroad is striking this weekend. So you're just everyone who took it to Hofstra, you're just there. You're not going to be. You're just stuck. You'll be leaving. Yeah, imagine if Princeton loses tomorrow, man. If Princeton loses tomorrow, the winner of Syracuse and Notre Dame is 100% the favorite in the title game. Princeton's got Penn State tomorrow. Princeton played Penn State this year and lost. Surprise dinner, Randy. Enjoy. I don't know, Scott. It's possible nobody's wearing it next year. I do not have a good candidate right now to toss it on. Yeah, I don't have a good answer to the question for next year right now to toss on the old double deuce for next year. Don't have a good question. Stuck in the city? Yeah, you don't want the old transit strike anywhere near New York. I was speaking of New York City area transit strikes. This would have been. When would this have been? This would have been like November, December, I think, of 2013. 2012. Syracuse was playing at St. John's. It must have been 2013 in the ACC. Must have been 2012. Syracuse was playing at St. John's in like a December women's basketball conference game, and it was their school day at Carnesecca Arena. But New York City was having a bus strike, and obviously, like in New York City, it's not school buses; the kids take the bus. So New York City was having a bus strike, so they couldn't get the kids to the arena, so the place was empty. And then that was the game. Brittany Sykes at a half-court heave to win it at the buzzer. So yeah, whenever there are New York City transit strikes of some sort, Syracuse wins games. There we go. Is it 2:30 next Saturday? We do not know that yet, T. Murphy. It is, and realistically, we will not know that until the games are over or close to over tomorrow in the Delaware quarterfinal. I am projecting a 2:30 start just because Syracuse Notre Dame as the second semifinal is going to be more compelling than whatever the other half of the bracket tosses out. But that's my guess. We won't know till tomorrow. Either way, we will have postgame. Not Tom Hardy. It was worn by Dan Hardy, Jeff. Worn by Dan, not Tom. Tom had a big goal against Virginia in the 2002 semifinals. Dom, different person, is going to Red Robin. Oh, shake some extra of the seasoning on there, Dom. It's delicious. It's delicious. Red Robin fry seasoning is like that. Red Robin fry seasoning. We're totally off track here. Red Robin fry seasoning has to be one of the best. Are we going to call it a condiment? The best on-table condiment at any kind of fast casual restaurant. That seems like a really limited category. But like on-table condiment additive, the Red Robin fried seasoning is elite, absolutely elite. Oh man, is Steve from team? If Steve from North Syracuse is in the chat, that would be very confusing, because I don't know if you were with us at the time. Steve is it too soon? Steve is no longer with us. So yeah, R.I.P. Steve. But Steve, I have faith would be in the chat if he was with us. The best fries are at Solutions in Salt City Market. I've not had those. Yeah, I'm not saying Red Robin is the best fries. They don't. But the seasoning, the shaker, is fantastic. Yeah, I think Judah Mintz is coming back. We got any other classics? Should we break down the Jesse Edwards dinner photo? Again, shout out to Steve in North Syracuse, though. Steve would be enjoying this 100% for sure. I don't know if he'd be enjoying the show, maybe, but he'd be enjoying the fact that Syracuse Lacrosse was in the Final Four. And should we delve into Yes. Steve is basically the reason Newhouse Afternoon is still on the air. Steve is funding it from beyond the grave. So shout out to Steve from North Syracuse. What just a legend in the industry of calling sports talk radio in Syracuse. Shall we do our Wildbirds Unlimited Big Air player of the game? Shall I see if there's any bird action in the backyard right now? You did not know that, Team Murphy? Yeah. Like a year ago, not this year, like February-ish. I'm going to say February 2025, something like that. Oh, wait, there's a bird at the corner of the camera here. We must move quickly. There's a goldfinch. Hang on. Wildbirds Unlimited Big Air player of the game. Look, he's not center frame, but there are the tail feathers of a goldfinch. Come on, goldfinch. Can you scoot camera left for us, goldfinch? We got to name our Wildbirds Unlimited Big Air player of the game. Come on, goldfinch. Move your tuchus. I can't I can't move it. You were disallowed from firing up your 8-foot auto. Disconcerting, Matt and White. If they win the Natty, that auto better be up. Come on, goldfinch. He's like scooching. What's he getting in over there? The seeds are the other way, goldfinch. What are you doing? Come on, goldfinch. This is compelling drama. We have a goldfinch at the corner. What is the bird that most commonly goes to? Probably the cardinal. The northern cardinal, Scott Hayes, because the northern cardinal sticks with you through the winter. Once the spring has happened, we've had a lot of the swallow. We've had a lot of the goldfinch. We've had a couple varieties of the woodpecker. The cardinal's still there. The blue jay was big in the fall. Haven't seen a lot of blue jay in the spring. A little bit of blue jay. He's like scooching over. Come on. Oh, there's another one. Another one's like, yeah, screw you. I'm taking center stage. Hello, Mr. Goldfinch. There we are. So with the goldfinch are here at the middle of the screen. We can name our Wildbirds Unlimited. Oh, he's been replaced by a female. How many of these birds can I accurately name? A female northern cardinal has been like, get the hell out. We are naming our Wildbirds Unlimited player of the game. Our voting options today were John Mullen, who was unbelievable in the first half today. Jimmy McCool, solid as always. Joey Spallina, big late. And Finn Thompson, yet another Hattie. 27% of the vote goes to Mullen, who had 2 goals today off the face-off dot. Jimmy McCool, 12 saves, 15% of the vote. Finn Thompson, 2% of the vote, but he was excellent. Joey Spallina came up big when it mattered. Joey Spallina, with 56% of our vote, with blessing from both the female northern cardinal and from the goldfinch, is our Wildbirds Unlimited Big Air player of the game. You are too late to go in person to Wildbirds Unlimited in Fayetteville or Camillus today, but the doors will be open tomorrow. Hey, another bird. Who are you? I don't know. Is this a finch? Now we're just getting this is like pure entertainment now. I don't even know which this one is. I think that might be a finch of some sort. Are you a house finch? Peck, chirp once if you're a finch. He chirped like 3 times. I don't have the audio on so you can hear the birds. Yeah, let me turn it on so you can hear a little bit of the birds. The field was apparently very slick, J.R. Doxey, and Syracuse handled it better for whatever reason. So, I was going to finish up with our Wildbirds Unlimited player of the game, but we're not. We got live birds going on right now. Maybe if I open up the app real quick on my phone, it'll tell me what's going on here. What's this bird? The female. Oh, it was a female goldfinch you just visited. That's not this. What's going on here? This is a chipping sparrow. This is I think, oh, wait, no, that's not it. It might be a chipping sparrow. There's been a lot of birds today. That guy got in a full meal. Chipping sparrow, says William Canino. Thank you, William. It'd be cool if they can hear you. Yeah, I don't think I can talk to them. Hello. We're not even overtime, Weez. We haven't even quite clipped an hour yet. Hello. All right, is that all the birds? It looks to be lightly raining outside. Yes, we are. Whoever asked, we are putting in a pool. It's the YouTube money. That's how we're paying for it. That's my former deck that's sitting there in front of us, and I'm that tarp is going to be the tarped area is going to be I had to move my garden from the other side of the backyard. So over the course of the summer, perhaps you will be seeing construction going on in the backyard at various points of new garden and holes and all sorts of stuff. The tarp is I put the tarp down, Matt NY, to hopefully kill the grass underneath to make it easier to dig up. And then I was waiting for the pool company to make sure they were coming in the other side of the fence. And now that's all come together, so I may start digging it tomorrow. Will there be a post game? When next week? Yeah, we'll post game next week. Absolutely. We'll post game next week. For Dom, lacrosse is Greek and Greek food is Greek. Get the euro. Yeah. Post game is for green names only. Yeah, if your name's not green, the dollar sign's next to the chat box. Hop too. You can also see, Matt and Y, you'll remember here from not that long ago, there was not a hole in the middle of my tarp. That's Ollie. Will we have a slide? No plans for a slide as of now. As of now. So, yeah, no slide. But Ollie has trashed my tarp, and then soon I will trash that part of my backyard. Pool company should become a sponsor. We're in conversations, Matt and Y. We're working on it. It's been offered. How about that? That's why I have not mentioned the brand of the pool company yet. Oh yeah, no offense taken, T. Murphy. I'm just I'm surprised. I say this not in an offending way. I'm surprised it alluded to you. They do not, Matt and Y. That is a fact. Have I ever eaten or drank at the Green Turtle? No. I have not. Jeff K went to 3 straight Final Fours. There we go. All right, that's enough looking at the backyard right now. No more birds have showed up. That was nice. That was a flock. Have we had the presser? We have not. Let me, before we let you go, let me just see if it is anywhere. It was not available live, but let me see if it's available not live before we go. How about that? Let's do a little check of the various places where it might be found in a not live manner. Not there. Let me go search out some quotes then, so we can at least give you a little some words that came from it. Let's at least give you some words. Is there anybody that's did anybody cover this thing? Like, what's going on here? WAR Sports Twitter account's usually good for that. Bubkiss. Let's look up Gary Gate. Who's got some words from Gary? Gary Gate. Nothing. Man. Yeah, I got nothing on anybody, JR Doxy. I'm kind of surprised. I thought we'd run into at least a little something out there on the old internet. When are the names going to be orange? Pastor Tim, I tried, man. I went into every menu that exists, and there are so many customizable options on the YouTube. And I Googled, I Reddited, I AI'd. It does not appear that's an available option, which is shocking to me because it really should be a one-click simple thing, Tim. Like, I thought it should be a one-click simple thing. And there we go. Ollie acting out after the crate incident. I think he may just be acting like a dog, Super Cat, because he's now big enough. Like, before he could fit through the fence, so we couldn't just let him out. Now he's big enough that we can just let him out in the yard. And he's had a habit of just going over the tarp and living it up. So there we go. And my poor tarp has been trashed, but that's okay. That's okay. My yard is about to be trashed even more than that. So, like, what are we going to do? It's going to be an epic mess back there. And, yeah, that's what we got. All right, with that, I think we've made it to Ollie seems aloof today. Ollie's upstairs today, Weez. I actually just heard him barking. He is upstairs. So, he is not directly behind me at the moment. He was actually in the background. Like, if it had not been raining and we had the door open, he might have been in the bird cam shot today. I caught him in the background like earlier today because the phone, you get like an alert on your phone when a bird shows up, and I watched it, and Ollie was just sitting there watching the bird like in real time himself on the outside. Played Joey's words. All right, here I'm going to guess. Let's see. Just for the hell of it, they've put up at least part of the Joey Spallina interview on the official Syracuse YouTube page. Are we thinking they left in the no words? I'm gonna guess a no, but just for the hell of it, let's go find out here. Here is Jay Spallina with Dana Boyle after the game.
It's unbelievable. So many friends and family here. I don't know if you can tell in the stands, but there's like 20 guys wearing Joey Spallina 22 jersey, and those are the kids that I grew up with. So I think I think out of all the guys in my lacrosse career, I think those guys are probably the most proud, and they're probably the most excited to go down to Charlottesville. So.
What does wearing that 22 jersey mean to you?
It means everything. It's not just lacrosse, right? It's all the extra stuff, right? It's being a good guy, being a good teammate, and it's just a blessing just to wear 22.
There are a lot of questions. Could Syracuse win outside of the Dome? What do you have to say to those haters?
I'm just so proud of my team. Absolutely love all these guys, and they're like my family. So.
Congratulations. Go celebrate. We'll see you in Charlottesville.
Thanks.
All right, there we are. Dana Boyle bravely going back in for a third question after the F-bomb. Full credit to Dana. That's doing the work. Good job, Dana. Good job getting right back in the mix with it. They dropped. They did the silent half a second of the F-bomb there. Sometimes I prefer tossing in the bleep, because then it really draws people attention to it, and that's fun. But he's proud of wearing the F in 22. Good for Joey. Good for F and Joey. Good for the swearing goalie Jimmy McCool from next week. Who will swear next week live on air if Syracuse goes to the title game? Who will swear next week? Do Ollie and Grover have play dates? Not as of yet. Super Cat, not as of yet. Though I told Jordan when I gave him the sweatshirt last week, I'm like, our dude, his dog, and Grover are going to, like, maul you, because Ollie had been, like, I'd had the sweatshirt in the car for, like, a week, and Ollie just kept sitting on it, so Jordan's sweatshirt probably smells like Ollie. So I do wonder if that influenced things. And yes, we motion to close. We bring it to an end. Next show will be Monday, live in the 315 at 11 in the a.m., Next show after that will be live in the 315 on Wednesday. Show after that, TPS Report on Thursday. But then Saturday, either if it's the nooner or the 2:30 game, we will be live post-game for you after a Final Four Syracuse lacrosse game. Outstanding. Second straight year the Orange back in the Final Four. Thanks for hanging, everybody. Great crowd today. Good to hear Yaz when he called in earlier. Look forward to talking some Final Four lax all week long. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday and your weekend, everybody.
Thanks for watching the 315 with Brian Higgins. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn your notifications on. We'll see you next time.